Welcome to the PNPI Explorer, a tool that allows users to examine how a given state, congressional district, or U.S. territory intersects with over 90 higher education variables, including workforce metrics. The PNPI Explorer combines data from 4 trusted federal sources to save you time and effort in your search for reliable information. When you navigate to pnpi.org/explorer, you'll see that accessing information takes only 3 steps. In step 1, you'll choose the geographic area you'd like to explore. The Explorer has selected the United States by default, but you can change this by clicking the drop-down arrow. Now, you can choose a state, congressional district, or U.S. territory to explore. With the exception of territories, which are at the bottom of the list, geographies are in alphabetical order. Interested in selecting a geography that falls later in the alphabet? Feel free to save yourself some time by typing the geography into the drop-down menu. For example, let's say you want to look at the state of Wisconsin. All you need to do is begin typing the state name, and Wisconsin should appear. If instead you wanted to look at a congressional district, you could select that district from this list as well. If you do not know which congressional district you're looking for, but you do know the zip code, we do provide a link to the U.S. Census Bureau's My Congressional District Finder. In step 2, you'll select between our curated reports, which are one-pagers featuring data on the most used metrics across specific issue areas, or custom reports, which allow you to build your own report, compare metrics over time, or against other states, districts, or territories. This video will focus exclusively on the custom reports. If you'd like more information about curated reports, please see our curated report tutorial video. The custom report function allows users to build 3 different types of reports from scratch. The report builder allows you to mix and match up to 6 metrics of your choosing at the national, state, congressional district, or territory level. This includes metrics from our curated reports, as well as several metrics exclusive to the report builder. The comparison tool allows you to plot a chosen metric and compare your selected geography with others. Finally, the Trend Explorer allows you to see how a chosen metric has changed over the course of 10 years within your chosen geography. Let's start by choosing the Report Builder function. We'll first select the Custom Reports button in step 2, and then the first option available under Custom Reports will be the Report Builder. It's already selected for us. Once the Custom Report Builder is displayed, you're able to choose your metrics by clicking the Choose Metrics button. The Report Builder lets you choose up to 6 different metrics for inclusion in your report. These come from 6 different categories: enrollment and access, college cost, completion and attainment, federal student debt, federal student loan repayment, and workforce variables. For each metric you choose to add, you'll click the drop-down arrow and select your metric of interest. If you know exactly what metric you want to display, you can always type in the first few letters of the metric to filter the options. For instance, if you know you want to look at race-related metrics, you can type in race. Now you have a much shorter list to choose from. To add another metric, you'll simply click Add a Metric and follow the same steps. You can mix and match metrics across all 6 of your metric boxes. You may want to create a report focused solely on federal student debt, or one focused on federal student debt and repayment, or even one focused on metrics related to gender or race. All metrics that you select will display data for the geographic region you've chosen. And if you don't want to choose 6 metrics, that's okay. The Report Builder supports anywhere from 1 to 6 metrics. At the top of the report, you'll notice that we include the full-time equivalent enrollment and number of institutions in your selected geography. If you click on the button that says Show Institutions, you'll be met with a drop-down menu listing all of the institutions in your geography, sorted alphabetically by institution name. We also list the sector that these institutions belong to, as well as whether they meet the Department of Education's criteria for being a minority-serving institution. If you're interested in doing so, you can sort these institutions by any category and in any direction. Now, as you look through the metrics that you've included in your custom report, you may notice the information icons in the top right corner of each box. Clicking on the information icon will provide you more details about the metric, including the data source or definitions of uncommon terms. At the bottom of the report, you'll find the data year that's represented in this report. You'll also see options to export the report's data, share the report, or download it. Clicking the Export Data button will automatically download a JSON file containing all data necessary to recreate the current report. The Share button provides you with several options. The first option is to share a link to your current page. The PNPI Explorer now supports links that automatically populate to the geography and report type that you've chosen. So sharing this link with others means they'll see the exact report that you shared with them. Also under the Share button, you'll see several opportunities to embed PNPI Explorer content on your website or blog. You now have the ability to embed full reports or single graphs using the code created by clicking on these buttons. Finally, clicking the PDF button allows you to print entire reports or single graphs quickly and easily. As the name of the button suggests, these will download as PDF files. The next type of custom report in the PNPI Explorer is the comparison tool. The comparison tool allows you to plot a chosen metric and compare your selected geography with others. We'll start by clicking on the comparison tool option in step 3. Similar to the report builder function, you'll start by choosing the metric you're interested in exploring. Remember, you can scroll down or start typing in the name of the metric you're interested in to see if it appears in our list. Once you find your metric, you'll select it to load your data. One helpful feature of the comparison tool is that it focuses on comparing apples to apples. So, if I choose a congressional district as my chosen geographic area, the comparison tool will compare it to the other districts in the same state. The district that I've selected will appear in gold, but you'll also notice this green line, which represents the national average for the metric you've chosen, and this blue line, which represents the state average. Now, if you choose a state instead, the comparison tool will compare your state against all other states and the District of Columbia, graphing those along with the national average yet again. Remember, you can change your geography at any time while using the tool by going back to step 1 and picking a new selection from the drop-down menu. So, again, if I go up here, now I can select North Carolina to see data for that entire state. And now you can see that metric that I've selected in a state-by-state comparison. It's also important to note that my previously selected metric carried over, but I can still choose a different one if I would like to. In this case, I'll select percentage of Pell recipients and note that Louisiana has the highest share of Pell recipients at 49.9%, but our selection of North Carolina is 38.8%. Again, the geographic area that I've selected is going to appear in gold, while all the comparison geographies are in blue around it, and the national average is represented by the green line. As in the report builder function, the data year is listed at the bottom. And once again, you have the full suite of download options available on the right. Our final custom report type is the Trend Explorer. The Trend Explorer allows you to see how a chosen metric has changed over the course of 10 years in your chosen geography. As you can see, your chosen geography has already carried over throughout your time using the PNPI Explorer. But if you wish to change it, you can always go back to step 1. I'll do that now, and this time I'll select New York. For the metric that I'm going to view, let's look at average tuition and fees for out-of-state students. Now you can see the data for our selected geography plotted over a 10-year period in gold for comparison. But the PNPI Explorer has also plotted the national average for you in blue. For specific values, you can either hover over points on the lines, or you can scroll to the bottom to see values for each individual year. If we zoom back in to the congressional district level, we can see congressional district, state, and national values plotted against each other. These run the span of all 10 years. And again, the data years are going to be displayed at the bottom of this page. You also still retain the options to download, share, and export your data. Now, let's talk a little bit about the data that makes the PNPI Explorer. As mentioned earlier, we draw from 4 data sources: IPEDS, the College Scorecard, the Census Bureau's American Community Survey, and the Federal Student Aid Data Center. Our Data and Methodology page provides you with the opportunity to understand the PNPI Explorer in greater depth. The Methodology report will walk you through the creation of the Explorer, discussing the decisions we made along the way. For example, if you find yourself wondering why we made a specific decision in handling data, you will typically find the answer in our methodology report. The codebook will provide you with a list of all included variables, their sources, and how they were merged to form the PNPI Explorer. And finally, this link to all data and code will provide you with the data files that we generated, as well as the stata files used to produce them. Now, as you move through our data, you may have questions. You may ask something like, why do percentages in a given display box equate to more or less than 100%? Or why are no values reported for certain metrics in certain districts? For these questions, and for many more, we encourage you to read through our frequently asked questions page. This page provides both general information about PNPI Explorer and answers to very specific data questions that you may have. To see the answer to a question, simply click on that question and the answer will appear below it. If you want to know how we define different variables, please check our glossary of terms. Here you'll find the working definition of more than 70 terms used within the PNPI Explorer. These can be used similarly where you click the term to see the definition. Now, if you have a question that isn't answered in the FAQ, we hope that you'll still reach out to us for assistance. PNPI can be reached at explorerhelp@pnpi.org. We created the PNPI Explorer to provide immediate and direct access to data that can inform policy debates, policy decisions, and policy recommendations, while building the decision-making capability of individuals, systems, and organizations in our space. Our hope is that you find it useful for your work as well.